Well, it's Trent on the Loos. You're looking at a few of the calves that we've got left from this year calf season. But the thing I wanted to notice is how content they all are. They're content to lay, they're content to eat hay, they're content, they're not stressed. My job as a stockman, first and foremost, is to minimize the stress of the food animals that we take care of. The true definition of animal welfare is how are you minimizing stress? And everything that we do, from nutrition to health to protection from the elements to protection from predators, is about maintaining a low level of stress. So many ranchers all across this country are dealing with an acceleration of predators. When you have predators with stock, you elevate stress. I can speak to this because on this very location, we had a mountain goat several years ago which killed 25, where did that come from? We had a mountain lion that killed 25 goats. Now that I'm listening to myself. But the first one was very eerie, I think is the word I want to use. Our then 10-year-old daughter, Libby, was saddling a horse, and she came running to the house and she said, "Dad, there's some strange animal out there with a long tail that just ran off with the goat." And for the next 30 days, that goat would show up and terrorize our animals and terrorize us, until I finally got a shot off at it. I did not hit it, but at least I deterred it from coming back. The issue of predator control continues to be a growing concern for the food producers of this nation, and that, my friends, should be your concern as a consumer, because if producers cannot produce food, you're gonna go hungry. As my friend Hank Vogler says, your belly button's banging your backbone, you got but one problem. Let's get it fixed. Ben Menges coming to us today from Southeast Arizona. He understands predator control. We're back with more Trent on the Loose after this.
At OLS Tubs, we focus on quality ingredients to create premium, low-consumption supplements that save producers time and money. Our customers see increased profits through better conception rates, heavier winning weights, and less time and money spent on doctoring herds. OLS formulas focus on highly bioavailable trace minerals and vitamins, as well as key ingredients to improve immune response, colostrum quality, and feed conversion. Our exclusive formula propels your livestock to their full genetic potential. This is why we confidently say OLS Tubs are simply the best.
Folks, when it comes to crop protection, you need equipment and technology you can count on. The Apache sprayer accomplishes all of that, but you need something else. A service counter and a group of people that'll help you when you need it. Simpson Farm Enterprises at simpsonfarm.com and High Plains Apache from Mandan. They have the service, they have the equipment. All they need is your confidence. Online, simpsonfarm.com or highplainsapache.com.
In the heart of North Dakota lies a beautiful community to live, work, and play. Beulah is surrounded by nature and just minutes from Lake Sakakawea and all that it offers. The possibilities for fun and relaxation here are boundless. It's the perfect place to find a fulfilling career, epic adventures, and a welcoming community. Life here is legendary. Plan your visit today and see what you're missing.
Are you looking for something special or one of a kind? At Bassett Motors, we can help you find exactly what you want.
Come on in and experience how small town hospitality and personal service can make car buying a pleasure.
We know interest rates are important to you. We have multiple lenders to negotiate your lowest payment.
Visit us on Highway 281 in Carrington, North Dakota, and online at BassettMotors.com. Bassett Motors, where our customers send their friends.
Trent Loos here for my friend Greg Hager. Do you know why he has been named the Entertainer of the Year? It's because he writes his own stuff. It's because what he writes and performs and entertains will touch you in a way like very few songwriters can touch you. His country, his Christian roots come to life. Visit GregHager.com for tour dates, merchandise, and book the show yourself. Use the code GREG24 for a discount. GregHager.com. Welcome back, y'all. It's Trent on the Loose joining us now. As I promised, it's good that I can deliver on promises, Ben Mingus. How are you today in Southeast Arizona?
Doing great. Yeah, we've had a little rain here, and the cattle market's great, and we're about to sell calves in April. So everything's looking good. It's the perfect storm, no pun intended.
I got 6 inches of snow a week ago Friday, and it came good. It was wet, but it just didn't give me much moisture. You get 6 inches of snow or an inch of rain, you think you just hit the jackpot.
Oh yeah, it looks that's great for us out here. Yeah, we're supposed to be about 12 to 13 inches of rain a year, but I don't think it hasn't been a while since we had that. So
That's probably double what I assumed you were going to tell me you usually get. Describe your topography and where you're at in Southeast Arizona.
So we're between Safford and Morenci, Arizona. Morenci is home of the largest copper mine in North America. So we're in a pretty rough, rocky country. We're in Malpai rock country. We have our country ranges from 60 to 100 acres per cow. And so that's different than most of the other states that have cattle. So I spend about 150 days a year on the back of a horse, just working cattle and hunting and checking fences. So anything related to the horse, I'm out there.
So 100 acres per cow calf unit. You got to have a pretty resilient horse and backside yourself to go see all your cows in one day.
Oh yeah. All right. The days range from 2 hours to 16 hours in the saddle. And I like the variation of it because we're so spread out and it's so sparse. I get to see a lot of different country every week, really. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy about it the most is it's the variation and doing something different or riding in a different country every day.
And do you have any four-wheelers on this outfit?
Yeah, we have Honda UTV that I take to check waters every now and then, but the roads have gotten so bad, and that's another issue that I won't get into. But the roads have gotten so bad that we're looking at having to ride into some of these areas. I actually have private land that the BLM is supposed to maintain access. The Bureau of Land Management is supposed to maintain access to, but we only have access with a horse right now. So
you got to be making that up, Ben. There is no way the Bureau of Land Management would fail to follow through on their duties.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
that's hard to believe, isn't it?
Are you in Cochise County?
No, I'm in Graham. I'm in Graham and Greenlee County.
Okay.
The ranch that I'm on is in Graham, though.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was raised in Greenlee County, but anyway.
What are the challenges that face you today as a rancher in Southeast Arizona?
I would say the broad challenge is the perception of public land ranching with the public. We're producing food on our public land for the public to eat. And so you would think that the public would be in support of that. But it seems like there's more and more challenges, more and more difficulties coming from misinformation surrounding public land ranching. The BLM has proposed a rule that would make conservation a use. You're probably familiar with this.
Absolutely. Walk us through it, though, in case our viewers are not.
So if conservation was a use then conservation organizations would be able to apply for the permit that I'm on and take that permit theoretically. And my mentality is that conservation is already occurring with what I'm doing on the landscape. The public land multiple use concept is a successful one largely because of the American rancher. the American rancher is providing all of the water for the wildlife, while he oftentimes, like I said, works the roads for people to have access to the land, because Bureau of Land Management is often underfunded or don't want to allocate funds to road maintenance. And so all recreationists, bird watchers, hunters, they can access this land largely because of the American rancher. And so that's one of the stories that I think we need to tell as ranchers. And I think we need to do a better job of that.
I really want to hone in on that multiple use, Ben, because for a long time, recreationalists, hikers, people who utilize and appreciate using the land with the four-wheelers or snowmobiles if you're in the high country, whatever the case may be, even the hunters have been critical of the rancher who is the steward of the land. And we've been talking about, hey, we're not opposed to you as a public land rancher. We're not opposed to the multiple use. We just want to make sure that we maintain the rights that come along with our vested water rights or whatever that case may be. And for the most part, that fell on deaf ears outside of the ranching community. All of a sudden now, what you're speaking to, where let's just say the big evil giant in the room is Nature's Conservancy, because they have more conservation easements than anybody else, can have an easement with somebody, anybody, and then limit that public use. So that means, no, you can't go hunt this area because they have a precedent over you as a hunter. This is something that ranchers have been talking about for now generations, fell on deaf ears. Suddenly, I want to make sure that everybody recognizes, who appreciates and understands. And I want to point out that you so eloquently said public lands rancher, not federal lands, because it's the public that owns 1/3 of the United States, not the federal government. We are the federal government. And there's so many things in this that we need to peel back to make sure that everybody understands it.
Right. Those groups, they want to close off access to the land, and we're in favor of keeping it open to everyone. And so maybe it's to the public's benefit to keep the rancher on the landscape. I think that we have a lot in common, and a lot of common goals with wildlife conservation, with recreationists, with campers, because we enjoy being out there on the landscape just like they do. And so they want to make sure that it's open, and so do we. And so I think we have common friends in that arena.
And I want to just speak a little bit to the water development, because the great challenge that wildlife has is accessing water. As a public lands rancher, you do water development most of the time on your own dime, and your livestock reap the rewards, but so do the animals that are there that are owned by the public.
Yeah, we have over 100 miles of pipeline on the ranch. We have over 30 well, no, we have exactly 30 storage tanks that I maintain. And so that's created more wildlife. It's pushed wildlife out of the riparian areas into the upland areas. And so they have more access to water, as you can imagine. So the deer populations, wildlife populations have increased because of the water systems that we've put in and that we maintain. That's another area that I think we have a similar interest as wildlife conservation organizations. They want to maintain the waters, and it's the rancher that's putting in the waters and maintaining them. And so I think that's one of the areas where our dreams align with them.
One final thing, Ben, before we go to a break, and that is that you're the first line of defense for what is happening on the border. Is that affecting you directly?
Well, we're north of the I-10, and I kind of think that's kind of the barrier for a lot of the border traffic. I think when they get to the I-10, then they go wherever they want. But man, it's affecting our state. It's costing our state millions of dollars. The House Natural Resources Committee just had a meeting down here to discuss the garbage that these illegal immigrants are leaving on our public lands. And so the House Natural Resources has a subcommittee on federal lands, and they were worried about illegal immigration because of all of the garbage. If you're an environmentalist, then I think you should be worried about illegal immigration too. So
Ben Mangus, my guest, joining us from Southeast Arizona. We'll take a break. We will get back to that issue of rewilding America and how we've suddenly moved into this whole phase where we'd rather protect the predators than understand what a predator actually is. Ben is not confused about that. We'll be back with more Trent on the Loose after this.
Stop out to our facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson is a family-owned dealer with expert staff that know their products front to back. We stock over 150 units of all types and can custom order a trailer with the unique features and capabilities you require for brands you can trust. Our experienced service team is the reason we're also the best place to have your trailer customized or repaired. Count on Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson to keep you hauling.
People get sick for two reasons and two reasons only. Your body's missing something that it needs, or it's exposed to something that it doesn't need. So if you supplement what the body's missing, the body fixes itself. If you remove from the body toxins that are interfering with the body's doing what it's normally designed to do, then the body heals itself. It's really that simple.
NO2U, that's nitric oxide, NO, number 2, letter U.com, and you put Trent as coupon code, you don't pay any shipping.
Hello and welcome to the MHA Interpretive Center. It's the perfect stop along the Lewis and Clark Trail and the cultural hub of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. Nestled along the shores of Lake Sagagawea in Newtown, North Dakota, 1 mile west of the Four Bears Casino. You can enjoy amphitheater performances, art exhibitions, and educational workshops utilizing our living cultural center. Enjoy some coffee, browse our gift shop, and learn about the original people of this land. Learn more at mhanation.com/interpretive center.
Welcome back, y'all. It's Trent on the Loose, Ben Mangus. I really expected you to, somebody that sits in the saddle that much, Ben, you should be doing this whole broadcast horseback. You want to go saddle up?
Well, it's overcast, so
you only ride on sunny days?
Yeah, there's like 300 days a year it doesn't rain here, so maybe we could do it one of those days.
There's an awesome video of you carrying a mountain lion. First of all, it takes a pretty special horse. I've carried a calf on my horse on the saddle. I've never carried a mountain lion. That's not an easy task. Tell us about that.
Well, so last year I went hunting 7 times for a lion, didn't get one, but in January we were lucky enough to get one. We hit the backtrack on the lion, so the lion was coming down, and we rode down in the middle of the creek, and the lion spotted us, and so we stopped him there on the bluff, and the dogs turned around and got him on a bluff there, and I shot him, and he fell about 80 feet, and so then we dragged him to the bottom and tried to get him on the horse. And the first thing we did was we put claws on the horse's neck, and then he was onto us, and so I had to blindfold him and hobble him, and so and I had to say nice words to him for the first time all day. And
really nice words.
Yes, and so that we got him on that way, and we rode out about 3, probably 4 miles, and dropped him there in the trail trailer, and then he was spooked by that. I don't think he realized the lion was on him. He thought I had just gained a lot of weight, and so dropped him there. And so that video, you didn't see all of the things we had to do to get him on there.
Nor will it ever be shown anywhere.
Right.
So how bad is the predator situation?
So we have, there used to be about 7 mountain lions a year that were killed on our ranch, but now I think we're starting to thin them out a little bit, or maybe they're going to other places. So a mountain lion kills roughly 1 animal a week. And so they could be absolutely detrimental to your operation. And so it's necessary, if you want to stay in business, to thin them out. You know, a lion's not endangered or anything like that. They're thriving here in southeastern Arizona, and so it's necessary to hunt them when you see a depredation, when you see a calf kill.
But Ben, to me, it goes way beyond just, I mean, because there is some states have a depredation program where you get a pittance and compensation. But here's what irritates me the most is the very same people who whine and complain that you do not treat your animals properly and that we need better animal welfare also promote reintroduction or expansion of the wolf or the mountain lion. And they don't fully understand, nor do they care, what the stress load is to the animals, because I got friends all up and down the Rockies where wolves are present, and they tell me that it's one thing on the depredation and what the wolf actually kills. It's another thing on how they can have an impact on things like conception rates, and that these animals in an area where these predators are just constantly nervous. And when an animal's nervous, or when a human being's nervous, the reproductive system shuts down, and that's an impact that we can't really measure or explain to people unless you've been there to see it and done it.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up, because I've been working on getting that data. So we worked with the University of Arizona in 2018, and they came out with a study that showed the impact on the rancher with the Mexican gray wolf. And we're using that study, and we've taken it to Congress, and we have Congressman Stanton and Congressman Schweikert and Congressman Siscomani here in Arizona that are all co-sponsors, and using that data to fairly reimburse our ranchers. It's called the Wolf Act, and that's supposed to be in the 2024 Farm Bill. If we are going to get a 2024 Farm Bill, we'll see. And so we have bipartisan support on that. You know, the wolf issue is very controversial. It's kind of along party lines, but I think everyone can agree that the rancher has to be reimbursed for his damages. We've seen both Republicans and Democrats agree to that point. The subcutaneous hemorrhaging is not the only source of evidence that should be taken into account. If you go to a crime scene, you know, you take all of the evidence into account. But that's not the standard for wolf depredations as it is. And so that's a pretty concerning thing. And that in itself makes me think that these wolves were placed in our area because they want to put ranchers out of business. There's this case of we want to manage the elk herds, or we want to protect the species. But I think there's an underlying motivation, and it's putting ranching out of business. And I didn't really used to say that or even really believe that. But when I saw that they changed the standard to only require subcutaneous hemorrhaging, that means that ranchers aren't going to get paid. They're not going to be reimbursed. And so that just will create less ranching.
I did a Formula I and Hank Vogler. I don't know if you know Hank Vogler in White Pine County, Nevada. He runs on BLM and Forest Service land with 10 bands of sheep and about 1,000 cows. But Ben, he and I one day just did a unscientific formula based upon his experiences of 30 years running on public lands. If the rancher was allowed to utilize the public lands to its correct optimal use, not maximum, optimal use, you should take what people drive through Arizona and Nevada and say there's nothing out there, and the rancher takes sheep or horses or cattle and converts that nothing into something that we can use. And in the case of beef and lamb, we should be producing 110 million protein meals a year. And with
Wow.
the current restrictions that are placed on you and other federal lands ranchers, public lands ranchers, we estimate that it's about 25 million protein meals a year. So it's less than 1/4 of what it should be in terms of turning that nothing into something thanks to a rancher.
Wow. Huh. One of the pieces of data that I've seen is that we actually save as public land ranchers, we save the federal government an incredible amount of money by managing the land, because then they don't have to. And I think we have I know we have a vested economic interest in the land, and so we do a better job than someone who wouldn't. And so we save the federal government $3.5 billion across the nation just by managing the land, so they don't have to.
And I assume you know this, but the PERC data, that's based out of Montana, PERC, PERC, you can go look this up, of all of the western states which have public lands and state land, the state of Arizona has the best system for managing that land and generating the best returns. So kudos to you. But the final thing I want to say, Ben, and then get your profound bits of wisdom, is that for 20 years, I've been going to public land ranches, particularly in Nevada and some in Arizona. You know, I got some friends around Winslow, and I'll get there several times a year. But I had so many deeded ranchers in this part of the country, in the Great Plains of America, that say, well, there's just nothing Ben Mingus is doing that's relevant to me. All of a sudden now we understand those restrictions that have been placed on you on public lands are now being placed on us on deeded property. And we've been trying to sing that message loud and clear. So Ben, send us with our profound wisdom of the day.
Oh yeah, well, you know, I think that, well, to your point there, that they're going to start with public lands. You know, all of the top-down approaches, all of the Green New Deal mentalities, they're already mandated, a lot of them, on Forest Service and BLM. And so that's just the beginning, and then they're going to mandate them on private land too. So I think that's where we're seeing that they're going to start. I guess to sum it up, you know, the American public eats 95% of the American public eats beef. Anyway, I just wanted to make the point that we're producing a good product out there on our public lands, and we like to continue to do so.
That's Ben Mingus joining us from Southeast Arizona, talking about celebrating an abundance of food. Let's not let bad policies screw that up. God bless the veterans and the farmers who feed.
Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Billings, host of The Right Side with Doug Billings, where we take great joy every day in entering into your lives at key moments to make differences for the better. That's how we fulfill the meaning of life.
Sundays at 10 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Folks, when it comes to crop protection, you need equipment and technology you can count on. The Apache sprayer accomplishes all of that, but you need something else. A service counter and a group of people that'll help you when you need it. Simpson Farm Enterprises at simpsonfarm.com and High Plains Apache from Mandan. They have the service, they have the equipment. All they need is your confidence. Online, simpsonfarm.com or highplainsapache.com.
So see these cows here, Trent.
Hello, everyone. I'm Trent Loos. Welcome to another Live Across the Pond with my pontification partner, Andrew Henderson. Good late morning, UK.
Good morning,
USA, and I'm in transit today. Ben is my driver. He's driving my car so that I can be with you live as we speak. And Trent, you can tell us about, when you were a little boy and the history of America. Is that what you're going to do this morning?
Well, thanks to Luke, I'm reminded that it was on this day in 1854 the Republican Party was founded. They claimed to be founded in Ripon, Wisconsin. There are some people that are not from Wisconsin who disagree. Steve Becker, we can have that discussion later. Doesn't matter. It's officially called Ripon, Wisconsin. I think they call it Ripon. But there's a very interesting little tidbit about the formation.
It is Ripon.
Huh?
Ripon. Ripon sounds like somewhere from, I don't know, Thailand. Ripon. Ripon is the name, not Ripon.
Ripon. I'm going with Ripon. It's Ripon.
Yeah, Ripon.
Okay.
Not Ripon.
So there is a direct tie, and I actually walked through this history at our Free Soil Coalition Monday night in York, Nebraska, because it's relevant. The Free Soil Coalition is so named by this period of time. Backing up, who was the first U.S. born president?
Oh, you told me when you were wasting good stuff earlier on, and I've forgotten it already. But he was a Democrat, wasn't he?
No, actually, he wasn't. He was a Whig, Martin Van Buren, who was a Whig, and then the Whig Party, Martin Van Buren, the 7th U.S. president. He was a kid in the tavern that his father owned, where the founding fathers were hammering out the Constitution. So as a kid, he heard all of these George Washington and James Madison and all of these people fighting and arguing about how to protect the rights of the U.S. citizens. He became the first U.S. born president. He was involved in the formation of the Democrat Party, because this whole movement in the nation thought that the Whigs had lost touch with what was going on in the world. And so he was a one-term Democrat president of the United States, the 7th president of the United States. He was a one-term president because he was campaigning on how we need to limit control of a central government, not have a central bank, not have an abundance of taxes, which was create a problem for people to own property and maintain their property. They got rid of him after one term because he was like, "You're not an establishment guy, you're gone." Then in 1840, I think it was 1844, they formed the Free Soil Coalition. The Free Soil Coalition was about freeing slavery, about free soil, meaning that you should not have your encumbrances to a central bank in order to own property, and free speech. So it was free soil, free speech, free men. They had Martin Van Buren. Hold on. They had Martin Van Buren represent them, the Free Soil Party, in 1848. And as a third entity, the Whigs, the Democrats, and the Free Soilers, Martin Van Buren got 10% of the vote in 1848. That's a big deal.
It is. And it's, you know how they always say everything goes round in circles? Well, we do say that in here in the UK.
Yeah.
My goodness, how does that parallel with where we are today, Trent? I mean,
and
really,
then the final leg of this journey is that another group of people who were fed up with the central control of both the Democrats, but particularly the Whigs. The Whigs had just gotten so corrupt and so crony capitalism that a group of citizens based in Wisconsin decided they were going to form the Republican Party in 1854, as Luke told us. And then in 1860, their first candidate for president of the United States, a guy by the name of Abraham Lincoln, became the first Republican president of the United States. There you have the history from 1840 to 1860.
Well, I have a feeling history is about to repeat itself. That's all I can say, because
it always does.
We were talking, we were talking rural route, I must say, about the situation in Haiti, where the mainstream media are making us believe that a cannibal is now in charge of Haiti, and that we need to send troops in and sort out basically the tyranny that's going on in Haiti and obviously the civil war that's happening there. I thought I'd do a little bit of digging after yesterday's conversation, and it turns out that I am completely convinced that all these efforts to
Andrew,
he just wants them to be able to determine their own future.
Well, you're in a horrible spot, Andrew. But I was able to watch a short documentary about this situation last week. Don't remember who sent it to me, but very beneficial that they did. Now, this guy who they're calling the gang leader, and I can't say his name. Maybe Luke can pull it up. It starts with an S.
Somebody, his name is.
Well, yeah, they call that's his barbecue.
Yeah.
But you know that he was a police officer in Haiti.
Yeah.
And he quit the police department because of the corruption. Now, he is obviously ruthless. And I mean, he's not a guy you want in your area. There's no doubt about that. But what's not being reported, I mean, they make it sound like these gangs are taking over the government and everybody is fleeing Haiti. Well, truth of the matter is that if you go digging, like I'm sure you found, he is garnering more support than any elected official in the country of Haiti because he's actually standing up to tyranny. It's just he's doing it with a AR-15 and whoever's in his way gets shot.
Well, you're right. And also, he's pointing out that hundreds of thousands of children have been trafficked out of his country.
Mm-hmm.
He's pointing out that the main participants in that are elite, globalist, allegedly politicians. He's pointing out that they've literally been stealing their children. That's what he's pointing out. No wonder
absolutely.
There is a backlash. No wonder Barack Obama was seen walking into our office the other day, because this is going to get very close to the bone from what I can see, because the Clinton Foundation has its signature all over this. Think of all the money that was supposed to be poured into Haiti by the Clinton Foundation. And now we find out that there's claims that hundreds of thousands of children have gone missing from this country. It really is really, really interesting. This I think this Haiti thing is going to be a can of worms that no politician who has got something to hide is going to want seen open. That's what I think is going to happen here.
The Haiti prime minister went to hobnob with the elites that you were talking about, and that's when this force came about. And he said, "You're gone. We're going to take control of this country. We're going to give power back to the people."
Well, I was reading about it yesterday, and I'm telling you that this is definitely something that's going to resonate right around the world. I mean, this has got all sorts of people implicated, and I even saw a video. Have you seen Marjorie Taylor Greene's video of the babies that they've found? Have you seen that, Trent?
No, when I see Marjorie Taylor Greene, I turn it off. I don't pay attention to actors.
Well, it doesn't mean that sometimes people aren't going to reveal stuff.
It doesn't, but I don't want to sort it out.
Yeah, well, she revealed some pictures of unborn babies that were being used for medicines for people. It was disgusting, actually. I watched it yesterday. So I'm saying to you, look, this Haiti thing is a much more, and it's going to be very, and it's going to be very, very explicit when we find out exactly what's been happening there. And this guy, if he survives, because he may well be taken out very quickly by the three-letter agencies, but if he survives and is able to show documented evidence of what's actually gone on, I think that could be huge. That's why I think that Bobby Kennedy's son, who's running for president in the USA, is demanding that we release the gentleman that's in prison. I'm trying to remember his name. The journalist that did WikiLeaks. He's saying that what's his name? Assange needs to be
Julian
released
Assange.
because he has he has absolute evidence of what's been going on here, and he would like to think that that was given to the people because it will show these criminals for what they really are. And of course,
well, you know that famine is something that is a tool of tyrants throughout the course of history. And if you watch any videos or you see this fellow we're talking about named Barbecue, he's not suffering from a famine. There's no doubt about that one. Andrew Henderson, Trent Loos. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more after this. As an announcer, you have to maintain your composure and not put people down and maintain enthusiasm that if we can just get one touchdown, we'll get some momentum and come back. How do you do that, and how tough is that?
Well, it's not necessarily super tough, but as well as an announcer, you know, fans like to hear the optimism. You don't want to talk bad on a team, especially since it's your own school. Just got to keep on the optimism side and look and see what said team can do to, you know, try to inch their way back into a ball game.
To the MHA Interpretive Center. It's the perfect stop along the Lewis and Clark Trail and the cultural hub of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. Nestled along the shores of Lake Sagagawea in Newtown, North Dakota, 1 mile west of the Four Bears Casino. You can enjoy amphitheater performances, art exhibitions, and educational workshops utilizing our Living Cultural Center. Enjoy some coffee, browse our gift shop, and learn about the original people of this land. Learn more at mhanation.com/interpretive center.
Trent Loos here for my friend Greg Hager. Do you know why he has been named the Entertainer of the Year? It's because he writes his own stuff. It's because what he writes and performs and entertains will touch you in a way like very few songwriters can touch you. His country, his Christian roots come to life. Visit greghager.com for tour dates, merchandise, and book the show yourself. Use the code GREG24 for a discount. greghager.com.
Stop out to our facility, Highway 22 South. Let us build a truck for you.
Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson is a family-owned dealer with expert staff that know their products front to back. We stock over 150 units of all types and can custom order a trailer with the unique features and capabilities you require for brands you can trust. Our experienced service team is the reason we're also the best place to have your trailer customized or repaired. Count on Base Fluke Trailers of Dickinson to keep you hauling.
Are you looking for something special or one of a kind? At Bassett Motors, we can help you find exactly what you want.
Come on in and experience how small town hospitality and personal service can make car buying a pleasure.
We know interest rates are important to you. We have multiple lenders to negotiate your lowest payment.
Visit us on Highway 281 in Carrington, North Dakota, and online at BassettMotors.com. Bassett Motors, where our customers send their friends.
Folks, when it comes to crop protection, you need equipment and technology you can count on. The Apache sprayer accomplishes all of that, but you need something else. A service counter and a group of people that'll help you when you need it. Simpson Farm Enterprises at simpsonfarm.com and High Plains Apache from Mandan. They have the service, they have the equipment. All they need is your confidence. Online, simpsonfarm.com or highplainsapache.com.
Trent.
Welcome back, Trent Loos, Andrew Henderson, live across the pond. And thanks to all my Wisconsin friends who are trying to keep me straight. Wade Lenz lives closest to Ripon of anybody I know, I think. And he is making sure I know that you're right, Andrew. It's ripping. I'm going to stick with
Ripon.
Ripon. It's...
I mean, it sounds like somewhere in the Viet Cong, doesn't it?
You met Wade, actually, Andrew. You met Wade at the dairy when we were in Wisconsin.
Did I?
I'm
terrible at remembering everybody's name, Trent.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Took me 14 years to get you to remember my name.
What's your name again?
So I got to ask you this blanket question, because I think this is the biggest problem we have. Is it nowhere in the Constitution, or whether it's the Constitution or the role of government, does it say that the job of the government is to pick winners and losers? And what I mean by that is that when they start creating economic development, government's job is not to create economic development. Government's job is to put in place minimal regulations to keep business regular. And then by staying out of the mix, by not giving subsidies, you're not picking winners, you're not picking losers. You're letting supply and demand. My phone is starting to ring off the wall saying, Trent, these grain farmers are in big trouble this year if we don't have subsidies to keep us in business. Subsidies are the problem. When you have a subsidy, you do not have the market signal to produce more of what the demand is for. It's basic economics. This is not high levels PhD economics, but the role of government has evolved into, we're going to come in and we're going to bring about this business. We're going to give a tax abatement. Well, your tax abatement now has the average person owing $102,766. I looked just before we went on the air. $102,766 per person to the government. We've got to get the government out of incentivizing business.
I think that went up $7 in a day then, because I think you quoted it, or is that just because you gave the rough estimate yesterday?
The other day, what we did was we took the debt divided by the 330 million people, but the official number that they're posting on the government site is $34.5 trillion, and whatever the population is, 330 some million, $102,766 per person.
And that's going up $1 trillion at the rate of, because of interest rates, $1 trillion every 100 days, I was told the other day. Now, you know the answer to that, and that's why the question is a bit of a poor question, to be honest. Because the answer to that is that these people are all earning money out of deciding who the winners and losers are. That's the problem. And that is a huge problem, because that goes back to what you're saying seems to have happened in the 18th century or the 19th century with the Whigs. It sounds as though we now live in that politics is a business. Politics is a business, not where people look after the interests of the people. It's where people look after the interests of themselves. And that's why we've got these stupid electric cars that weigh 30% more than other cars and are ruining our roads and causing 8-year-olds in Africa to do slave labor, because these people have got control of who gets the money, when and why, because they're on a cut. So that's your answer, and you know that's the answer.
Well, no, you've identified the problem, the solution, the answer we strive for every single day. I happen to believe that the answer is partially coming in Pierce, South Dakota on Monday. You know, we talked a lot about Senate Bill 201. Senate Bill 201 was eliminating local control as it involves pipeline construction in counties in the state of South Dakota, 66 counties strong. And the people are not going to take this lying down. And that's why Monday morning we'll be at the state capitol in Pierce, South Dakota to say, we're going to get the people to sign a petition, and we're going to put this on the ballot, and we're going to show you elected individuals, I think they're selected. In fact, the person that was most commonly the problem.
Will you get the 17,000?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're quite confident.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Because I asked that question because you did. In a different way, the state of Texas has a win yesterday, doesn't it, against the federal government with regards to this being allowed to deport people out of Texas. So some people are winning back using the Constitution and the Supreme Court in the right way, aren't they? That's what you're suggesting. Everybody should be able to do now.
I'm not poo-pooing that victory in Texas, but there was a bigger victory in Texas yesterday, and that was the withdrawal of Texas school funds, investment funds in the schools into BlackRock. They pulled it out, saying that their constitution does not allow them to invest money, and their every state invests money that they take from their employees, and so many of the states are invested in BlackRock. Texas announced they're pulling out as a massive amount. I don't even know why they have this much money, but they're pulling it out of BlackRock because BlackRock continues to campaign against the very industry that built Texas to be the power that it is, petroleum.
This is a very good news program today, then, isn't it? Some really, really positive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we have to do to motivate people to take it back. We can't sit back and expect somebody else to do it. We have to initiate the groundswell support.
Yep. And it's making me feel good inside you talking about it, to be honest, because I'm quite excited that that's actually the case, that we are seeing now. I mean, Chrissy Nome, is it? She's not going to be very happy when you stop her from implementing what she said was going to help people from the countryside when you prove it's the opposite. She's not going to like that, is she?
Suddenly, my goal is to make Christy Nome very unhappy.
I think you're going to make her as unhappy as a pork chop at a bar mitzvah, to be honest.
At a barbecue in Haiti.
At a barbecue in Haiti, yeah. not Ripon, not Ripon, Haiti.
I better get back to Ripon, Wisconsin. Actually, I might be going close. Got a good call last night from Wisconsin. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
funny. There are some words you couldn't bastardize, like Lincoln. You couldn't change that for some reason. It didn't work in your new vocabulary that you've created,
right?
Like tomato, potato.
Well, I mean, these things are important. So Lincoln, Nebraska is in Lancaster County. Okay.
And Lancaster. So you haven't changed Lancaster either. That's somehow kept its meaning and its vocal correctness. But other areas.
But if you're in Pennsylvania, it's not two syllables, Lancaster. It's Lancaster. It's one syllable, Lancaster. Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, prominent. I mean,
Pennsylvania is near Bath in Somerset.
Lilith, Pennsylvania makes Lancaster County, Lancaster, very popular.
Pennsylvania, by the way, Pennsylvania is the tiniest little village just outside Bath in the southwest of England. It's extraordinary how somebody from there ended up naming such a huge place, because it is a tiny place, Pennsylvania. I'll tell you, it's not like York or.
But Pennsylvania is so instrumental in our nation's history, talking about the Whigs and the Democrats and the beginnings of our country. But Amos Miller is in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. You know the story of Amos Miller, correct?
No, I don't. Sorry.
You don't?
No.
Amos Miller has once again had his farm raided, and it happened the day I was 50 miles away in Pennsylvania, and I was flying out and couldn't get there to his place because the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture, partnering with the feds, came in and raided his PMA, Production Marketing Association. I didn't say that right. Something PMA, where you can be a member of the organization and have access to buy foods. And he was selling raw milk, and he's selling things that the state of Pennsylvania doesn't think is right. And as a PMA, he has the ability to overcome those or be outside of that insight. And for the second time in 5 years, they raided his place, came in and took thousands and thousands of dollars. In fact, that reminds me, I was going to get a hold of his attorney this week. I haven't done that because he had a very good statement last week. But it is an attack on individual liberty and freedom and the right for people to choose.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Shah. I wanted to bring one thing up. The Scottish government passed a law yesterday. You know, we're seeing more and more freedoms being taken away from the freedom of speech. Now, if you question immigration in Scotland from Europe to the UK, if it involves, get this, Muslims, they're the new leader of the Scottish Parliament. They passed a law which says if I question that in Scotland, I could be prosecuted for hate speech and end up in jail. So if you question immigration in Scotland from yesterday, and somebody says they're really appalled by your view on that, you could actually be fined and jailed.
And I'm sure that includes some posting on social media.
Pardon?
I'm sure that includes making some comment on social media.
I'm sure it does. And I think your Supreme Court is about to adjudicate on that. And I'm praying, because I think that will be a catalyst one way or the other. Because if your government is allowed to censor people and censor and prosecute people on social media, that is the end of free speech worldwide.
Yeah. Free speech is the number one in Bill of Rights, right ahead of the right to have a well-regulated militia and bear arms. For Andrew Henderson, I'm Trent Loos, regaining control for the farmer, one bite at a time. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
At OLS Tubs, we focus on quality ingredients to create premium, low-consumption supplements that save producers time and money. Our customers see increased profits through better conception rates, heavier winning weights, and less time and money spent on doctoring herds. OLS formulas focus on highly bioavailable trace minerals and vitamins, as well as key ingredients to improve immune response, colostrum quality, and feed conversion. Our exclusive formula propels your livestock to their full genetic potential. This is why we confidently say OLS Tubs are simply the best.
People get sick for two reasons and two reasons only. Your body's missing something that it needs, or it's exposed to something that it doesn't need. So if you supplement what the body's missing, the body fixes itself. If you remove from the body toxins that are interfering with the body's doing what it's normally designed to do, then the body heals itself. It's really that simple.
NO2U, that's nitric oxide, NO, number 2, letter U.com, and you put Trent as coupon code, you don't pay any shipping.
In the heart of North Dakota lies a beautiful community to live, work, and play. Beulah is surrounded by nature and just minutes from Lake Sakakawea and all that it offers. The possibilities for fun and relaxation here are boundless. It's the perfect place to find a fulfilling career, epic adventures, and a welcoming community. Life here is legendary. Plan your visit today and see what you're missing.
Open Range is going to be like a digital magazine, I call it. We're going to be looking at a variety of subjects from agriculture, energy, sports, art, politics, of course, and we will be talking about a lot of subjects, having a lot of guests on, and I'm going to have a variety of co-hosts. One of them is Memo Barreto, Gail Wetzel, Gene Grainer, Dustin Goverlau, and Daryl Lease. Welcome to Open Range, weeknights at 9 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Hey y'all, it's Trent on the Loos. Join me on the trip and unearth the stories on how we maintain a domestic supply of food and fuel for future generations of American citizens like our forefathers did.
Good morning.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, got you good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I cannot hear you.
Yeah, you should. I hear myself.
Are you on mute?
No. Do you hear me now? Sound check testing 1 2.